couple of years already. I think it's ripe. The time is now ripe for them to not just go all out, but also to win the whole thing. But they have to warm up well during the knockout stage. So I'm actually expecting both Ffws and RRQ to really pop off today.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to consider the top Indonesian qualifying teams to be major top dogs in today's play day. I kind of feel, though, at the same time, I'm really glad you brought up Ffws, because Ffws was one of my teams that I kind of predicted to do well today. There's a lot riding on this team's shoulders, right? Like, they are also holding on to that championship title from last year, so they also understand that they're going to have a major target on their shoulders. So considering how well that they did yesterday, and remember, they also played in Group A. You know, that group itself was, I feel like that's a criminal case that needs to be investigated. That group should not exist. But they did so well up against Group A. So now I'm thinking, okay, what are we going to be seeing today? Could we be seeing an even better version of Ffws?
Yeah, I mean, I am expecting that. Yet, even yesterday, right, we had the top predator MT7 come out at the very top, kind of showing exactly how much of firepower Brazil brings onto the battlefield. I'm looking forward for them to stepping it up again, but alongside them is also E1 Sports, kind of dropping the ball towards the very end, but not too far away from the number one spot. Although they finished in the 5th place yesterday, they were just 8 points behind AG Global, who were in the first spot. So it's very, very impressive. The only thing is they could not score a single booyah for themselves yesterday. I'm hoping to see E1 Sports kind of achieve that for themselves today. I mean, who knows, maybe even more than that one booyah. Heavy did phenomenally well yesterday as well. They did manage to secure a booyah for themselves, but, you know, not that much more better, because yesterday the lobby was just the kind where it was so equal across the board, except for a few teams down at the bottom who just really couldn't make the cut. And surprisingly, one of those teams that just couldn't make the cut was Buriram.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shock. But then again, should we be shocked? Because we've seen earlier this year, Buriram, I think they also have to play the game sometimes where you also can't shine too bright during the early stages of tournaments, because if you shine too bright, everyone's going to try and snuff you out early. So maybe for them, they're using these preliminary matches. Firstly, earn enough points to get through the first round. That is obviously the goal. But once you've earned enough, then try to learn more about the competition. Who is a team that is going to cause you issues moving into the next stage, and how do you deal with them moving forward? I think this is a team that's just too smart to be disregarded in a tournament this prestigious.
I hope you are absolutely right, because I'm waiting for Buriram to wake up as well. It wasn't a great day for WAG and Red Hawks, but you know what? There is another Room of Pressure video coming up for you guys, so enjoy. Danny and I will be back in a bit.
We all know the roar is always loudest when it's home. We have the world champion who's done it before, Ffws Divide, as well as the king who is still chasing their very first crown, RRQ Kaz. Now the question is, can they turn pressure into power? Main di depan gawang sendiri jadi keuntungan atau justru jadi beban?
Kalau takut tekanan, gak usah pakai biasa nakutin. Kalau semua orang teriak nama lo gak bisa ngeluh karena lo harus menang. Kalau tim saya mungkin underdog sih. Orang lain kira kan kita cuma jago di liga doang gitu. Ya kalau di konsisten lah. Ini tanah Indonesia, dan pastinya tim-tim Indonesia termasuk ulama dari pasti bakal juara. Jadi tim-tim lain gak usah ini dah. Pulang aja lu kalau malu.
Two teams, one nation. But only one of them will lift Indonesia's pride before the world.
Some fighting words from the two teams that are with the home ground buff here, Danny. We're talking about Ffws, we're talking about RRQ. And RRQ kind of called themselves the underdogs. I don't know which universe they came out from, because the last I checked, RRQ is no small squad. They can get the job done out there. The only thing is luck has not been on their side. Can they get booyahs? Yes. Can they annihilate teams? Circle, absolutely yes, world-class squad, but just hasn't achieved the best just yet. Maybe now is the time that they have got this battle happening on their own home turf.
Yeah, I think it just makes sense to bring this up as well. RRQ, it seems at the moment one of the major factors holding this team back is pressure. This team, once you hit that certain pressure, unfortunately seems to crack. We've seen this in a few tournaments so far where they're so close to being able to achieve something great, but then all of a sudden that pressure kicks in and all of a sudden RRQ as a team, they kind of crumble. So I think this is going to be a great testing ground for RRQ fans to see, has RRQ managed to figure out how to temper themselves and to not break? Because this is the world stage. This is going to be as much pressure as you get. You're going down into the depths of the ocean. So you need to fight against instead of letting it break you. So I think there's a lot of eyes on RQ, especially for the Indonesian fans, because they have been waving the Indonesian flag for years. This is an org, and a lot of the players on the team, everyone knows them. They are idols for a lot of survivors out there. They look up to these players because they have been around for such a long time. So RRQ, their moment of greatness, it could possibly be this year, but they need to figure out this issue of theirs.
Absolutely. And of course, let's not forget, we also have the new loadout system that's activated in the game for you guys as well out there, and the plates that we have gotten in a long, long time. Now we've got the new items, the team booster, the enhanced hammer, the tactical market, as well as the super leg pockets. The most, surprisingly interesting ones are obviously the leg pocket. We've got the capability of the players to boost their own stats out there as well, and we see a lot of the rushes kind of going for
this has been added. I think there's going to be some teams I feel that might struggle just with the new additions. Like, yes, you're on the world stage, but at some point, once you add something new to the game, you have to be ready to adapt to these new changes. And I'm kind of wondering, are there any teams out there that might still be panicking, thinking like, guys, I'm not used to this yet. This I can't use efficiently enough because I just haven't had enough time to practice with the inclusion of the new system. So, I mean, based off of yesterday, do you kind of feel like there were any teams that might have sort of dragged their feet maybe in the dirt? Maybe you feel like they might have struggled based off of the new system?
Nah, I don't think anyone's struggling with the new system. In fact, they all have a great advantage now. It has really empowered some of big damage. If attack, offense, and aggression sounds like you, your loadout pick is the enhanced hammer. Now, unfortunately, we haven't seen any teams make this the priority pick for themselves just yet. I would like to see maybe a couple of those rushes go out there with the enhanced hammer, but they have been focusing a little bit more on recovery, a little bit more on shielding themselves from harm out there, because you can't take your chances. And
well, again, we don't know the full potential of the hammer. So maybe it just takes one player to figure out, okay, how is there a way for me to make the most of this? Why, AJ?
No,
Why?
I'm
Why are you
laughing
laughing?
because you say you don't know the full potential, and the OB51 patch notes, right? When you look at the enhanced hammer, it just says firepower. That's the only description.
That's what I mean,
So
but
you go
nobody
for-
knows the full potential. So you've got to use it to find out what that potential is. Look,
Looks like the
someone's
teams
got
just
to...
don't want to find out.
I mean, you kind of can't blame them too. If you don't have numbers or statistics to work with, you don't know, is it worth taking the hammer over, say, the healing instead? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, healing is also really great. If you're alive, you can actually help your team. If you're dead, then I think we kind of understand what you provide to your team. Not much, maybe a little bit of vision. But, AJ, are you ready? Game number 1.
I think I
The meter, the round is ready.
here. Game number 1 at Bermuda. Yesterday, we had a little bit of a slow start. We kicked things. A surprising match for me because it was quite equal at the very top. Not a lot of eliminations overall on the leaderboard on this map.
All right, AJ. So, teams are coming in, and at the moment, it looks like we are going to have, aside from WAG and Hotshots, we are going to be having more or less a clear entry point for our teams. As we've got Coach Hill and Rastia going to be moving in together and actually launching themselves to meet up with their teammates, with R7 in the background, going to be moving along as well. Now, Coach Hill going to be moving along with the team. I guess the question here for some of the teams is, what is the game and WAG the board? They want to get those elims right off the bat, but who is in the better position? I have to say, WAG, I do like their position a little bit more, with Please One leading the charge and X4 just sitting on the side.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Hotshots from Pakistan have got a great fight up against them now, and WAG didn't really perform all that too well yesterday. Looks like Bangladesh is off to a fantastic start up against Movistar as well, having taken away Della from the equation. Hunting down Games King. Here's Hope. Has got the pen in hand, and he's praised him down. Bangladesh is off to a fantastic start. And Mexico cannot take the heat. Hacks with the P90 on for the save. Goes in for the pickup as Hope gets dropped. Maybe a little bit of recovery is just possible here. WAG, on the other hand, trying to dispatch the players on the side of Hotshots one after the other.
Oh, but WAG, even though they won that previous engagement, now all of a sudden we have another team coming in to cause some issues here. NVL, oh my gosh, so MVP and Kuslo already hitting the ground, and all of a sudden I think they might be regretting this movement here, thanks to EVOS, who are the ones to be sticking their nose into this business. And this is just as bad for WAG, because if you know that EVOS is here, this is the team that is going to want to eliminate you from the round. And you can see here AimGod and Ray trying to get into position. They do have to be mindful though, this is still WAG, but Please One being shot from the side thanks to Coach Hill. Rasta coming in to finish off Tikoi and Cyrus, and EVOS already starting strong with 4 eliminations to their name.
Yeah, brilliant anticipation here by EVOS. They heard the gunshots and they thought, hey, you know what? Let's drop by and say hello. Let's get our game day off to a fantastic start. 4 eliminations early on before we even reach the 4-minute mark. It's fantastic for EVOS as E1 Sports now finds a little bit of a potential victim out there on the battlefield for themselves from MEA. The one and only Clear Vision Esports, but not a full-on engagement just yet from E1 Sports. Just kind of biding their time, making sure they don't hop on into this battle without making sure they are in the best of spots. And as RRQ circles around, they find a stray player from the side of Redcliffe. Too easy. And it looks like the revivals will continue for the Bangladeshi squad.
I mean, the revivals are continuing for all of our participating teams because we still haven't had an elimination yet. We're still running 12 teams in this match. So you can already see teams really trying to play around, collecting vision, and if possible, trying to grab those early eliminations. Speaking of, we have Mufasa on the side of Heavy, just doing a bit of a scouting duty for the team, and they managed to find somebody playing along the outskirts. And at the moment, it does look like it's going to be a 3 versus 3 until the full team for Heavy is able to regroup, and the situation is looking a little awkward. So instead, Heavy will be leaving, but AG Global instead might be the ones to run into Kuslo here. He's going to be taking those shots, and this should be the end. Thanks to Cypher. Finishes them off so easily.
Unfortunate that they lose Cluso as AG Global spots them, and the hunt is on. Vending machine just in front of Nova Legion, so a revival is going to be fairly quick and easy. As I say, that Sabas brings Cluso right back in. Cypher AC-80 in hand, looking to fish Sabas out, misses the connection. That headshot could have been deadly. He goes in for the vending machine instead as EVOS now bumps into the players of Movistar R7. Elimination after elimination, but Coach Shield at a vending machine just brings his brothers right back into the play.
those eliminations from Movistar actually pushed them up into first place already for our first game, sitting on 6 eliminations. So currently our leaderboard leaders, AJ, and it looks like the team, they don't want things to end yet. They're even looking for Coachil, and even though EVOS are able to get those revives back in, this is going to set them so far back in this matchup because their players are going to have to go back, try and find new items, and basically regroup and figure out, okay, how do we play at an item deficit? Because we've seen in the past for EVOS, this team thrives if they're allowed to just go absolutely crazy from the start. But with a start like this, I struggle to see EVOS being able to achieve much in this round.
Yeah, just at the very start, 7 eliminations already here for Movistar R7. As AG Global now rotates around, a big potential to bump into the place of Nova Legion. And AIM got a sliver of health, but thankfully nobody around this compound. There is a vending machine here, so he should be able to bring his buddies back if and in any case things do go south for the guy. But thankfully, the rest of the players are safe for the time being.
And hopefully they stay safe for a little bit longer, because if they have teams chasing them and cutting them down, this is not going to be an easy job at all. And unfortunately for AIM God, I think he's going to be cut down again because Movistar R7, they really want to get rid of this team. They have no idea who they're charging into, but it's EVOS. It's a major team. But looks like AIM God able to get a knock there onto Games King, so buying time for the rest of EVOS to come through. Is this maybe going to be a moment of regret here? AIM God does get cut down, but it's still 3 versus 4. Very, very doable for the team if they have the items.
Yeah, let's see if or not they can pull this off, as AIM God taken out of the equation is going to be a big problem for them. Russia sorts that out by breaking up Games King. What a shot from afar. The tag is there, but no follow-up just yet. Movistar not looking to waste time at all. Moving together as a squad. They have to be careful, though. They're not really stacked as far as those glue walls are concerned. So getting caught out in the open here could be absolutely deadly, especially if there is a third party around them. We'll catch up with that in a little bit as Heavy spots out AG Global from the roof. Alan just awaiting, biding his time. A sharp shot from him has the M79. This could just be deadly.
Oh, make sure they have to land it. They have to land that shot because it's AG Global, and Kabi is going to be the one to be cut down instead thanks to Chinoy. Beautiful shots coming through from AG Global, and now it's one player down. Oh, but Chinoy gets denied by Alan, putting them down a player, and all of a sudden Mufasa trying to charge in, almost getting an elimination himself, but Cypher rushes into the building. Chinoy going to be still on the ground there, and all of a sudden now for Heavy, this is the best time to hunt down AG Global players, and they're going to try and do so. Alan, he's back up. He's going to try and meet up with his teammates, finish off that elimination first. Cypher goes down thanks to Mufasa, and Heavy keep themselves in the game.
Yeah, it's a great play coming through from Heavy here. And it's very impressive because yesterday when Heavy played this Bermuda map, they just didn't manage to get as much as they wanted. Placement points were decent. Eliminations wise, it was just 3, and your number 1 spot squad just got annihilated. Removed from the lobby on 11th. Unfortunate for AG Global.
Terrible start, unfortunately. So, bit of an uphill battle for this team from game 2 onwards. They're hoping to stay at the top of that leaderboard. And as you can see right now, teams are starting to rotate because we have now figured out our definitive path for our teams. Our circle has been decided, and it is going to be pretty dead center for this particular matchup. Not quite hiding in a corner, so teams have a lot of room to play with at the moment. But it seems like we are having a quiet moment here for the teams, at least. I know a certain team, EVOS Divine, is very grateful to have this quiet time because we did have a pretty chaotic start, AJ, right? Teams, you can really see, showing a lot of respect to their opponents, really aiming for eliminations. And we have seen in the past how eliminations can really determine a team's position in a game if correctly executed.
Yeah, no doubt at all. I think that is something they definitely have to look out for. But what's a little more impressive as well is Movistar R7, they did very well on Bermuda yesterday, a total of 21 points. And it looks like they're on their way to do that again. If anything, they might just break their record from yesterday. What a shot. Sharon from afar, VSK to Witten. Just managed to trade out Younes before he gets dropped. The pickup is instantaneous inside the time turner. And E1 Sports just clean house. Clear Vision Esports spotted them, had clear vision, could do nothing with the information.
Yeah, great recovery there for E1 because they did have a player on the ground when that fight broke out. But they do also reveal their position to the rest of the teams because right now we are starting to run out of real estate and teams are basically next door neighbors at this point of stage. But I love the positioning here for RRQ. So coming into this circle, we do have Duets playing pretty far forward for the team, playing as the scout, trying to provide vision and help RRQ figure out where they're going to have to decide for their next path to be, because it is, aside from that, very open. There's not a lot to work with here for our teams. You're going to have to try and rely a lot on natural cover, including boulders and trees, and there's only so few of those going around, especially if you're trying to tree hop and provide yourself that safety going into that circle. Speaking of safety, Hotshot's not going to be looking too safe themselves because they are running into Ffws territory, and Hotshots have been shot out of the...
They didn't stand a chance. Fluxo, your reigning defending champions, just not messing around. They missed out on the number one spot yesterday. They are not looking to do so today. Movistar R7 back in action. This time they won EWOS Coach Shield. Deep Freeze thrown out. And the response of those glue wall melters meeting the EVOS players at RRQ. Backstab. Indonesia just messed up the play for one of their own, and they don't even know it. Aim got down on the ground. Riptide Rhythm sent as well from Ma'al. Just throwing more chaos into this battle between Movistar as well as EVOS. The pickup instantaneous. Aim got needs to back away for a little bit here as RRQ takes the fight straight up to them, and now this backstab is going to be pretty deadly as Joker does manage to help out RRQ a little bit here with the elimination onto the EVOS player. RRQ makes it to the next circle.
A very lethal elimination there for EVOS because they've lost Rasia, so the sniper is out of the picture and the rest of the team is going to have to try and pick up the pieces and survive moving forward. But RRQ showing signs of life in this lobby, looking to at least assert some level of dominance as they're trying to figure out, okay, where's their next path going to be? Because they have secured themselves a compound, so they've got some place to hide for now. But where's that next circle going to be? Percent of next section, and I mean EVOS are pretty happy to be where they are right now. Movistar R7 is going to encroach on that territory very soon as well, and looks like Coach Shield's been caught there by Woodson.
Yeah, I mean EVOS not having a great game here. They keep getting aimed down early on. Movistar and then RRQ, and now Fluxo, everybody taking aim. The champions of the EWC Free Fire 2025 about to get annihilated here as they stand right in the middle, everyone surrounding them. It is just unfortunate in terms of position for EVOS. How do they make their way out of this? They do have a vending machine that they could abuse, bring back their buddies, but in a circle so tight, spraying them down from the skies isn't going to be too tough at all. Heavy, on the other hand, losing player after player on that high ground, which was supposed to be advantageous for them, turns out to be an absolute curse. Mufasa is still there, though.
Oh boy, RC is going to be out of the running. So we still have 7 teams in the running here, AJ. And right now it looks like Fluxo has made their move. They're going to try and fight into E1. And so far the team is looking very strong. GU is right in their face. And right now E1, they're running out of distance. But MT7 has been caught thanks to Witten. Beautiful snipes coming out from the team. If they can keep chopping them down like this is how E1 can get rid of our reigning champions. But Fluxo still trying to find that opening. And it's very, very dangerous now. They're running low on resources, but looks like Witten's been caught. Lions the next one to fall thanks to RRQ. RRQ are actually helping out Fluxo.
Yeah, RRQ doesn't know that. They just want to sneak away these points. And, of course, those pumps off the grenade launcher, one after the other, being tossed at that battle, hoping to get lucky. RRQ does manage to sneak one knock away. Mahal's going to miss the signal here. The two E1 Sports players will get away with their lives. But RRQ will be in trouble because E1 Sports could just stab them in the back as they make this rotation in.
And while all that's happened, Movistar's R7 has been eliminated, so clearly something has happened, meaning that EVOS all of a sudden have a way into this game, and we're going to be starting to see some monster truck gaming here, folks, as we use this as cover. This hill is barren. There is barely anything to work with, and you can see already the rivalry between the two teams. MVL looking to take out EVOS on that low ground, and RRQ wanting to keep Fluxo at bay on that high ground. EVOS still struggling to try and make their way up onto the high ground, so they have the glue walls. We see NVL rushing in. Kusto going to be hitting the ground first, so Sebas still looking rather healthy, but EVOS not looking healthy themselves. Both of their players very, very low. It's just Aim God. He's going to finish off Lopez and do the best that he can, but EVOS down to their final player, and look at this, RRQ looking to take game number one. AJ, NVL there's only so much he can do with one player, but RRQ have taken game number one.
Beautifully done by RRQ. Very safe, and in fact, luck was definitely on their side. Unlike what EVOS had to deal with so many squads, it's constantly focusing their firepower up against EVOS, where they had to play defense, where they had to lose a lot of resources, play those revivals in those very final moments. RRQ, on the other hand, brilliantly created their own future, playing from the edges of the circle. Had also the M79 in hand, the grenade launcher, which tried its best to sneak away a couple of extra eliminations off of some third-party situations. But of course, it was a opportunity well played for them. Movistar R7 did well as well, but unfortunately couldn't get deep enough into the final bout of the action.
So I think we're already starting to develop some storylines here for our first game, AJ. EVOS, they could be in trouble if Movistar's R7 continue to chase them moving into game number 2 onwards, because that was a trend that we saw for this particular game. Fluxo might have some beef to pick on with RRQ just because of that final circle. They were almost at risk of being eliminated. E1, that bout with E1, I think that is also going to give us a bit of a glimpse into RRQ's playstyle, because they could have fully committed into eliminating E1. But the fact that they double backed, that is giving me hope for this team, that they have maybe curbed that impulsiveness that sometimes sort of kicks this team in the shins. So I'm feeling good vibes, okay? But it's only game number 1. I've got to see more from RRQ to feel really confident in them for the rest of the games today.
I understand where you're coming from, but I think RRQ is definitely geared up. They are well warmed up because of that home ground advantage, right? They know exactly what they're dealing with. They've got a little bit of fan power ahead of them as well. I didn't hear anyone scream out for RRQ earlier, but you know, for EVOS, someone went crazy in the crowd earlier on, right? And like, yeah, EVOS! that's the kind of extra buff that you need. You know, for all you know, you've got some of your friends out there who are right in front, maybe part of your crew as well, cheering you on. Things like this make the biggest of difference. And at the end of the day, RRQ has been waiting for a long time to prove themselves, and nothing went wrong for them in this matchup. Once again, some of the other teams faced a little bit of difficulty. Of course, that's exactly how each and every single lobby is going to be. But with all of that luck being on the side of RRQ, they made very good use of it. In fact, I would say in some of those circumstances, they manufactured the luck because of that brilliant rotation that they had.
Guardian Angel of mine to suddenly appear. But Guardian Angel...
I mean, weak game overall in terms of eliminations, as opposed to what usually RRQ can pull off, because we do tend to see more eliminations out of Ffws. He's very proficient on the AC-80, especially with the passive skills that he brings in as well, right? He's got the Maro, he's got the Luna for the extra fire.
Kenas kirim dot itu. Kalta itu. Kalta itu. Babu. Bapak. Bapak.
Gini asli mas asli itu. Baru itu.
Raham belad ase.
Itu.
Yesterday, they have taken a lot of opportunities on this Kalahari. You got to respect the rotations out of Movistar R7. You know, great consistency in the squad overall, and one of the more impressive plays were on Kalahari. So this is definitely something that we got to look out here for. As far as Indonesia and Kalahari is concerned, I just think Ffws needs to use this to step it back up, because this is where Russia truly shines.
If I was Russia, I think I'd probably want to hide a little bit more, because you're going to have a target on your head. I think that goes without saying. This is probably the man to watch out for in Kalahari. As we are getting ready for Kalahari here, folks, we've just finished up the Mira. If you missed out on match number 1, RRQ is setting the stage here for day number 2 after securing our first booyah of the day. So strong start for the team so far. They're looking good, but we still are waiting to see if RRQ is considered a top contender, because they labeled themselves as an underdog, which I personally don't agree. I do think this is still considered a top tier team. It's just they're probably not being looked at as much as Falcons, for example, and to a certain degree Ffws and Buriram. So I think RRQ, they still need to be very careful, because if they are going to think of themselves as an underdog in the tournament, I'm scared this mindset could get unnecessarily on a map, because they think that they're harmless. They expect everyone to think they're harmless, but that's not quite the case.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous that RRQ calls themselves the underdogs. Right? It's just, it does not fit. The description definitely doesn't fit what the team is capable of doing. We've got a video as well for your delight, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We've got ABAX here with some spicy words. Let's see exactly what the good sir has to say.
Coba kalian bisa adaptasi nggak di sini, karena soalnya kemarin kita di Brazil susah banget buat adaptasi dengan makanan, cuaca di sana. Nah, sekarang kalian cobain di sini di tanah kita. Sangat berbeda jamnya, makanannya. Kemarin gue dengar makanan Indonesia dia kagak suka. Dia mesennya McD mulu. Dia nggak suka makanan Indonesia karena pedas. Ya buat haters ya tetap menghujat kita. Semoga hujatan kalian nggak bakal capek ngasih ke kita, karena itu kata-kata salah satu motivasi buat kita. Thank you bro, semangat terus. Semoga dosa kalian makin banyak.
Shots have been fired. Ffws taking a dig at Fluxo of all teams.
That wasn't even a dig. I think the Indonesians are just showing off that they are as spicy as their food. So you could be inviting an unwanted guest in your house. But, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we are ready to jump into Kalahari. The teams are ready to go. The Indonesians are ready to go. All our participating teams are ready to go. So who do you think is going to grab our second booyah of the day? We'll find out right now, but let's fly into Kalahari.
That's exactly who gets to dominate the desert sands out here at Kalahari as we kick off game number 2 on day number 2 of our knockout stage. A total of 6 days here at the knockouts, and each team gets to play 4 out of those 6 days. You technically don't have a lot of opportunities at all. Yes, 24 sounds like a lot when you start, but as you start going through those matches, they dwindle down really, really quick. You can ask WAG about that. You can even ask Ffws about that. They really, are quite experienced in the group stage of the Southeast Asian leg. They didn't really fare all that too well.
Speaking of not faring too well,
Okay.
we might be seeing a little bit of action on confinement over there, AJ. We've got NVL and Heavy actually fighting over that singular compound. So we could be seeing some names hit the dust, some players being sent back to the aircraft. But we are seeing here RRQ camped out at their favorite spot. They're back in Refinery. This is the place that this team knows and loves. And we'll have to see if anyone decides to compete for that spot later on, as Kabi is the first one to be down there.
And Hope versus the whole squad of Movistar. Until Liku shows up, Games King. Sliver of health left on him, P90. Liku has the advantage here, goes in for the spray, gets the fantastic knock. I have to say, Redcliffe has been very impressive, albeit they did not manage to get very far in that first game. But their engagements look a little sharper than Redhawks, which is quite a big surprise to me.
I mean, if they keep fighting like this, I think it'll absolutely pay off for the team. Yeah, so Redcliffe, they pick up 2 eliminations. We've just started the round. Could be a good sign for the team if they can also just stabilize. And I think something that could maybe hold Redcliffe's back is you kind of fight into everybody, but if you're too reckless, then you might just be throwing your entire team away and ending your run for the round. So at least they've got their 2 elims, and we'll see what Redcliffe's decide to do here, if they maybe want to try and compete for Refinery or if they want to play along the outer edge. Now, speaking of other teams, we do have Ffws here looking to shoot out hot shots. Almost went for action, but no, a little bit too late on the trigger there. We have another shot there. Rasia doing Rasia things.
Well, Coach Hill is right in front of Dowley. Taking a couple of pops shouldn't be too difficult here. And this is Clear Vision Esports about to get annihilated. 2 games back-to-back super early. Not a good sign at all. And it looks like they can't get away. Rasia has got a pretty deadlock on them with the VSK. They do manage to hop on away from Wayne. Does get tagged from afar. Younes is holding back just to see if or not he can buy a little bit of time for the rest of his team members. And he sacrifices himself for the greater good. Question is, what can the rest of the Clear Vision Esports players do with the extra time? Everybody has given them absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Fluxos decided to end their run, so Clear Vision, they thought they were free, but sometimes you just launch yourself in the wrong direction and you basically feed yourself into the mouth of another potential predator in that lobby. So first team gone, 11 teams remaining, but already a great start here for Ffws. And actually, there are still some other teams that are doing rather well in the lobby, but I think I think a lot of teams are expecting Ffws to do well, and the numbers, they're kind of proving them all right. Ffws are currently the kings of Kalahari for this round.
And Clear Vision again with the early exit. Unfortunate for them. They only picked up 1 point on Bermuda. Barely anything in this matchup, so they'll have to wait and see what they can do with the rest of those 4 opportunities. Hacks with the stop, but Liku with the revive before he gets shut down. So quick fingers right there for the Redcliffe players. And this just happened to be the same issue that the Red Hawk squad was facing as well. Great start with the initial engagement, and then they fizzle out fairly quickly after that. I just think Bangladesh needs more time on the global stage just to get used to the very, very different pace that we have from some of these other regions here.
Yeah, very, very fast paced, unfortunately. Teams just constantly moving. As we've got Kuslo on the screen, just gonna loot up a little bit and then regroup with the team. But Floki has been caught in the backside thanks to Games King, who's able to get a very sneaky elimination. Bit of a very sneaky elim. Sebas has been caught as well, down to 30 health, is able to try and recover, but you can see Movie Stars in the background looking to finish him off if they can catch his head. Just the top of his head is all that they need, but he's able to juke them out so far. So Sebas, but he gets caught anyway, thanks to Della.
Well, let's see if Nova Legion can find the recovery, because once again they've had a very hot start, but Heavy up against Ffws. A great one, as they don't manage to bump into a little Oscar. Valiant dash or nothing, but don't cry. The timing is bad here. Ray spots him, Charge Buster takes him down, and that leads them straight into E1 Sports. I don't know if it was intentional, but they've been baited in. Ffws needs to get the heck out of here.
Either get the heck out or just go the heck in, because you can see Ray jumping into the fray as well, and they managed to get it down there onto Vittini. So Ffws, I think they're comfortable trying to fight into this, but they have to find a clear point of entry into the team, because E1 going to keep themselves within that compound for now, and so far it is keeping them rather well protected. And you can see right now Rasia trying to see, okay, can I get into position to maybe punish someone instead, catching vision of another player on his side. So I think Rasia just wanting to make sure he's covered on all angles to make sure that he's not picked off while he's trying to go for these snipes.
Ffws 10 eliminations on the Bermuda map, and they are already at 6 on the 6th minute here. And Redcliffe, just like Red Hawks, hot start and a quick fizzle out. I think they need to replace some of their vendors for their little flame here. Because, sometimes when you buy the wick and the wick is bad, your oil lamp doesn't burn as bright and as long. I don't know if anyone gets the analogy. I don't know how many of you guys light lamps at home, but their wick is definitely bad.
Yeah. Just not,
you don't
not
get
the best game.
No,
What you mean? Yes, I do.
You don't light lamps at home.
I don't.
You're old.
What you mean?
You're old.
I know what an oil lamp is. Thanks.
You know what it is, but you don't light it.
I don't need to light it. I press the button and then there's light.
Amen. Alan, a little bit of a risk here. Riptide Rhythm sent out from the side of Heavy up against Ffws. Got them flanked out already, which is in. Kind of fish one out. And Alan cannot move anywhere at all. But the setup from Heavy is such where if they do try to take Alan out, the rest of them can back him up. Alan, double tag, and Bobs gets it done with the Winchester.
Bops them out of the air. So Heavy not feeling too happy themselves either, because now they know they're at risk of potentially being rushed upon by another team. And, Bobs, he's going to be the one to set the tone for the rest of the team. But actually, Butzen is there as well. So Fluxo wanting to leave a mark on the map, grab some eliminations. If they get rid of Heavy as well, this will secure their position at command post. And look how quickly they are trying to get on top of this team. Heavy is now panicking. They're hiding in that building. Butzen's playing on the rooftop. The rest of the team has made it through. All it takes is for one head to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Some trick shots here from the jump out of the window, but on the other end, Movistar R7 moving down the players on the side of Ffws. 6 eliminations already as they break down these blue walls, ripping away lives. Ffws trying to find some way to survive this encounter. And Heavy, on the other hand, I thought they were successful running away from the players of Fluxo, but all 3 fall. One final survivor. Can they find some sort of a miracle here? We missed that whole bout, and Kabi got away with a sliver of his health still left on himself.
Yeah, but this is such a big task on one player alone, so it would be a miracle for Heavy to be able to mount any reasonable comeback in this matchup. I mean, he's got a vehicle for now, so he'll try and hunt around and see if he can bring his teammates back. Rasia, though, about to be jumped on by the entire roster of Movistar R7, and they've caught him. And that is it. Ffws is out of the lobby.
It's unfortunate this time they just got hunted down. Did manage to play that Bermuda map fairly well, and luck just wasn't on their side this time as they got hunted down by one of the best. Movistar R7 They were upset with their placement points early on after having such a heated battle. 12 eliminations on Bermuda. And Barros Chinayo both down. And Saifa looking for some way out of this. There is a vending machine in the compound. Getting to it is going to be the problem. And Tikui gets there first just to make sure he brings PLS1 back. And at the very same time, make sure Saifa does not get the revival. Saifa reaches M590. PLS1 taken down. One more shot needed, and Tikui, with a sliver of health, does manage to sneak on away. No vending machine placed just yet from Saifa. Both players on that med kit. Grenade's not going to meet him just yet. Up top, and Tikui down.
Beautiful play from Saifa. I love how aggressive Saifa is. He knows what strings to pull. He knows his absolute limits. Oh, absolutely crazy. We've got Du here with Cyrus, where he does manage to finish him off there. So that's going to be another point going into the pocket of AG Global. And actually, glad that we've got AG Global on the screen here, because this team, unfortunately, for round number 1, completely bombed out. So if they want to keep their mark on that leaderboard, they're going to have to try and have reasonably good round number 2. Because if they bomb out here, this is going to do some pretty serious damage to their overall ranking points.
WAG, even today, they don't seem to be finding a lot of luck out there on the battlefield. They were one of the teams that was struggling yesterday, and the story seems to continue in here, unless of course X-Ball can pull off some sort of a miracle. Vending machines just ahead of him with the whole squad of AG Global circling around. Somebody needs to use the binoculars or somehow spot on X-Ball, because just that free point just sitting there, and it looks like AG Global will say bye-bye to WAG, and the team will get to survive at least another couple of circles.
Yeah, Chino not being too thorough with his final scout. So we're moving on, as we are still in the running here for round number 2 here, ladies and gentlemen, on Kalahari. We still have 9 teams in the running, so we have already lost a few teams in the earlier stages of Kalahari. But at the moment, I think we have a pretty established team currently leading the charge, especially with the number of eliminations that have been going on in this round. We've been seeing a lot of fighting happening, and we could potentially see another one here with 2 major for that particular compound. It's very bloody.
Hotshot needs to stay safe as long as possible. Heavy on the right, AG on the left. E1 Sports in shooting distance as well. Blue UAV sent out just to barricade that doorway. Make sure it blocks out a couple of extra shots. But Saifa cooking up the nade already. Just needs a perfect toss in, and Hotshots might just lose a couple of players and open them up for a quick rush. AG Global looking for some massive elimination points early on.
Oh, it's a very scary moment. Hotshots, AG, even E1 shooting at Hotshots as well. So poor Hotshots really just on the receiving end of all of these bullets and damage and grenades. They're actually abandoning their compound as well. I think after seeing Heavy just leave theirs, and actually they're going to try and go for a fight to fight into Heavy, but instead they lose their own players. Big mistake there for Hotshots. To be fair, I think they had to make that risky play happen. But on the other side though, WAG have been eliminated in 9th place. Yeah, just a really rough game here for Hotshots. They're trying to find some kind of freedom, some kind of room to move with, but they're really just stuck in between all of these major teams.
Oh, Della actually survived that with a sliver of health left on him. Pick up from the side of Movistar R7, gain saving Della. Now full squad again. This is going to gear up Movistar R7 for a potential booyah here, but 8 more squads left. Circle goes towards Movistar R7. This cannot get better.
No, it cannot. This game is basically telling Movistars this is going to be your game. But can Movistars R7 basically finish this match safely? Because they're still having to deal with 6 other teams in this lobby. And we've got Heavy moving on to the high ground here. Hotshots are out, so we're now down to our top 6 teams. And now it looks like Fluxo finally going to try and take this compound away from RRQ. And you can see RRQ grouped up on that second level. They're hoping Fluxo come in from that low ground. This could be a mistake. All it takes is one grenade and a right shot, but they don't get it. They get jumped on and the entire team hits the floor. Fluxo delete RRQ, and both of our Indonesian giants have been eliminated from the lobby.
Yeah, that was a swift movement coming through from the players of Fluxo. I'm very sure a couple of grenades were tossed on in there as well. Area of damage caught multiple players on the side of RRQ, and then the firing squad with those M590s just dropping by to say hello. The VSK as well hitting in hard. Unfortunate for RRQ. They just don't get to contest for the booyah this time around. E1 Sports though on the opposite end, looking straight at Fluxo. Finding Jiu. Joker looking for that finisher, but the rest of them barricading themselves behind a glue wall. And the attack from E1 Sports and Movistar R7 puts Fluxo in a terrible spot.